back to 95, but I think that I got lost in the calamity of the sea. You missed out on all the warning signs, no doubt for you to notice, even if they were neon lights.
Michael, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. So we'll keep it simple. We're both in the same country, different parts of it. So the weather's a bit crap at the moment as it is. How are you doing overall at the moment?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Just come off the run of 6 gigs in a row, which is fun. So I'm a bit tired today, but at least I can have a day of recuperation, and just relax a little bit.
Exhausting, as you say, but fun nonetheless. It's always good to have these opportunities. Particularly it's such a busy gig calendar at the end of the year. Everybody's out and about doing something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I've just got like gigs on gigs on gigs at the moment, like hosting events and playing band gigs. Well, it's fun. It's fun, but there's a lot of running around.
Yeah, I get you. Well, I mean, we are nearing the latter point of 2023. So as you reflect on the year that's gone by, are you satisfied with what you've personally been able to accomplish this year so far?
Yeah, I'd say so. I've done loads. Like I've basically put on like gigs every weekend, giving local people the opportunity to play headline shows, putting on bigger shows, having people support, providing a bit of a platform for local musicians to perform. I run a few open mics as well, so it's a nice little community that you've got around you. And then we've been doing all the stuff with. I released an album I produced with one of the bands I'm in. I produced, mixed, mastered, recorded it all in my front room, more or less, and that's got like over 12,000 streams, and it's an hour long, and it's lovely. It's really nice, but it's a little bit depressing. But there's beauty in the depression of it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's been fun. I'm planning even more stuff, trying to work on even more music. Trying to fit all of it into the week.
Yeah, I have to ask then, from a busy perspective, how does this year stack up against the previous couple? Say 2022 and 2021 doesn't really count, does it? Because we were still in the sort of pandemic period.
Yeah, I mean, ever since we were kind of allowed to start seeing people again, and all the restrictions started getting lifted and stuff, it's just been full on all the time. I've been playing with the Anyone's Ghost band, which is the band whose the album I put out. I've been playing like gigs with them. I've been playing my own stuff. I've been playing with other people as well. I was in an indie band for a bit, playing bass just as like something to do, I guess. Got a bit of fun in it, And I was playing with one of the girls I manage who signed to the label, so I was playing guitar for her a bit as well, and so it's busy, but it's a good laugh.
As long as you're enjoying it, that's the most important thing.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Well, I mean, of course, you are a singer-songwriter. You're an artist. You're a producer. You're the head of Bread Records. You're part of the band. Anyone's Ghost. Have I missed anything from that list? Promoter as well, right?
Yeah, I put on gigs through the label.
Yep.
So I've got one tomorrow at the Grafton Arms. A lad from down south coming up playing with his band. Nice little folk punk evening. Should be really fun. I've got a Halloween gig next week on the Friday at Low 4 with Outside Now, who are really, really good. A couple of people supporting as well. And then I'm playing a gig in one of my old bands. We do like a reunion gig every Halloween. I'm playing that. So that'll be a good laugh. But
how do you keep all these plates spinning? I mean, you must have some way of keeping order to this, what sounds like something's almost chaoticness.
I have a very, very chaotic Google Calendar. And like notepads with to-do lists and like daily tasks and everything. It's a
You're just
confusing
managing.
system, but it's a confusing system, but it's not confusing to me. Do you
Right.
know what I mean? Like people look at it and they go, "Boom, heck, how do you keep track of all that?" It just works for me. Do you know what I mean? People have different ways of organization, and I think you just gotta use what you can. You know.
No, I completely understand it. Once you personalize something, from my perspective, I have 3 different programs and apps used to plan written reviews, video content, interviews, and things like that. And if I showed it to someone, they'd go, "Why the hell have you split it into 3 things? Why is it so messy and all that?" It works for me.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You know, I've got countless Google documents and Google Drives of everything to be like day sheets for gigs, logos for artists, promo pics. You know, I write a few reviews for the label for local artists and trying to keep on top of that. Like we do a Monday feature where it's a little video feature with like a song that's just come out by a local artist. So then every Monday we put that out and it's all in Google documents and I know where it all is.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
I wouldn't want anyone else to like try and find it all, but I know where it all is.
Fantastic. Well, now I'm even more appreciative of your time because it feels like to me like any little sit down moment like this is taking you away from something else you should be doing.
Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes you gotta like days of rest.
Of course, yes. Mental well-being as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I do want to focus on you as an individual a little bit here. So, because obviously you are a singer-songwriter, you are a performer, you are an artist, you do this as well as helping others. So take me back to your earliest memories of wanting to play and perform music. And specifically, if you can remember it, what was the dream originally?
When I was younger, I had like guitar lessons and from a young age all the way through till I was like 14, 15. And I just always it was just like my parents want me to do it. But I've never really thought that it would be a career, I guess, or something to do. And then I moved to Scotland doing a job that I wasn't amazingly happy with. And I just kind of used writing songs and performing as like an escape, something to kind of take me away from all that work that I was doing and to go out and relax and meet people who wanted to listen to music and other songwriters. And then I was like, okay, maybe this is what I want to do. And I just kind of thought I'm going to do it regardless of what happens, you know.
Can you put a finger on a specific point in time, an event potentially or so on, when you realized that you could do this professionally?
I think it kind of was like a gradual thing because before the pandemic, I was running like one open mic and I was playing a little bit and I was running the label, recording music and that. And then as the pandemic hit, I just had a lot more time to do things, you know, which I know a lot of people who kind of drove themselves a little bit insane being stuck inside all the time. But I just kind of use the time to do things like record music, you know, write up reviews for people. We hosted a little on like virtual open mic in a little Facebook group, and everyone would go live for like 20 minutes and play a song, a couple of songs.
Fantastic.
And it was really lovely. And then kind of as everything started opening up again, more places were like, oh, we'd love to get you doing stuff here and that. And then obviously the ball starts rolling a bit. So then we were able to put on gigs at different places, you know, get people on who were out of town, who were wanting to play in Manchester. And now I'm just emails every day, like every single day in my life, you know.
It's fantastic that you've even got to this stage. You know, we've already talked about your business so much already, but you know, just to reiterate that that business is testament to your talents clearly, because people are coming knocking because they want to be part of this, what you're doing.
Yeah, and especially with like the artist signed to the label, we don't look at things like how much can you sell, or how marketable is your music, and how commercial is it, all that. Because I don't really think that should really be the sole focus. If you're making a piece of art and it's a lovely piece of art, then you should have people around you supporting you. I think that's the most important thing.
How do you at the moment, what's your process to deciding who you sign to the label?
A lot of the time it is people that I think the main thing that I will ever look at is how committed someone is to their music, to creating music, how nice they are. That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, just if someone's genuinely there for the music, I think that's probably the most important aspect.
So you'd give everyone an opening shot, as it were, until you kind of like that kind of thing. I just sort of think, like, do people submit to you and then you listen to it and you decide from that?
I do get quite a lot of submissions, and so it is just me doing this. So financially, it's not. I can't. I'd love to sign those people, but I don't have the time. I don't have the money to market music efficiently. Like, if I had 10 releases on the go every month, I'd be spending thousands and thousands of pounds just on marketing. And then you have to think about what comes into it as well. Studio costs, mixing, mastering, promotional material. There's a
lot going on.
Yeah, you've got to spend money to make money, and you might not make the money.
If you make anything at all, it's a bonus these days.
Definitely.
So going back to you specifically, reading up, we've actually, you've done a couple of interviews written on the site in the past as well, and sort of getting some others. There's something that stood out. I mean, I guess I want to see if there's truth behind this. Did you really switch to an electric guitar after seeing Neil Young play in Hyde Park?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. That much of an impact.
I remember going, and I went basically on my own, and I was just like, I just want to go and see him live. And I remember being there and just being like, this guy's like 70 something, and he's still just going mental. And like, he played Down by the River, and it was like 27 minutes. I'm like, how does someone at 70 do that? That's just unreal, And you think, like, he had all of his early folky country stuff that was arguably way more popular. And then he was just like, oh, I really love this grunge scene, and just started doing it. You know what I mean? I can't imagine that any modern label would even accept that. They'd just be like, no, like, he did the electronic album in was it 1984? Transformer or something, and the label basically said, if you do that again, you're going to get dropped. So then he puts out a rock and roll album and then a country album just to spite him. I think it's the integrity, isn't it? He's just like, his creative integrity is just so on point constantly.
Doing what he wants and still being one of the biggest names in music, full stop. Not even genre specific, just music, full stop.
Yeah, exactly.
So then for you, what do you see as your biggest challenge to not just getting your name out, your stuff, but also the name of anyone's Ghost and Bread Records out there? What's the biggest challenge?
I definitely think financially, because you couldn't, if you had a budget of £10,000 a month to market music and to do marketing, you could go very far. Not everyone has that, especially in, like the north of England, for example, where people are from a majority of a working class background. I know some very, very talented people who just don't have the funds necessary to do what they can, not be able to play a gig because they haven't got enough money to go on a train to this other city. Things like that. And it's unlikely they're going to make money at the start to be able to afford to do all that, which is a shame. But it's the way it is, you know.
Yeah, I don't have a fix. You don't have a fix. It is the way it is.
Yeah.
All we got to do is, I think these days, although it's on social media and stuff like that, the word of mouth and talking about the local bands is still very important.
Yeah, of course, yeah. As a, like, and the reality is, if you look at any major label, there's a team of 30 people doing all individual aspects, like marketing and A&R, then, you know, advertising, photography, you know, bookings, and a lot of like independent musicians have to do all of that by themselves, and it is a lot. It's a lot of work. I do it, and it is a lot of work. You know?
And fighting for space as well.
Yeah, easily. You know, there's so many people who want to play music, and fair enough. But everyone should be able to play music, but there is so much going on all the time. You know, that it's difficult for people to. It's hard enough to get people down to a gig nowadays. You know.
Indeed, you know, I'm in a hotbed of gig city. I'm in London, and everybody comes to us of a certain size. But obviously, on the local scene around the country, you know, I know the Manchester scene extremely well from the rock and metal perspective. Traveled there, been to gigs, love the Bread Shed, for example, and you know, I would love to see these bands be able to come south. But where's the money coming from?
Yeah, that's it. And when you look at how much it costs to get down there, if you don't drive, you know, it's a lot of money to spend for a show that you probably, if you've got 4 people in a band as well, you'd be
lucky if you're lucky enough to break even and not lose money, then you know that's a win there alone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, easily.
What do you derive most creative satisfaction from in all aspects of your professional life? Is it your solo work, anyone's ghost, the label?
I think it's a lot. The events that we put on for the label are like, we've had some amazing events where I'm like, bum and heck, like, how have we done this? Do you know what I mean? But then like the feedback from, so I produce all of the Anyone's Ghost music, and it's very atmospheric, it's very soundscape based. You know, all of it is around Wanda, the main songwriter, Wanda's composition. Yeah. But people turning around to me and being like, oh, I love this bit or this, like, and just like coming and saying little things and being like, it's so nice when someone connects with it. Do you know what I mean? Someone just actually is, you know, gives you a honest, good feedback. You know, I think that's easily the best. You know, like, actually, I've produced other things as well. They're in the works at the moment, but I'm producing other things that are a bit different because I want to kind of expand out and try different things, you know.
Challenge yourself.
But obviously, doing this alongside 6 days in a row gigs is a fun balance to have in your life, you know.
Well, describe it for me then. What does a normal day in the life of Michael Webster look like?
So usually it's sorting out emails, thinking about, I have like a big social media spreadsheet of all the social media posts I need to do every day. So, or depends on what I need to do. You know, like maybe I'll write a review for, maybe that's the social media post I needed to do. Maybe it's just something like posting about the gig that's happening tonight, thinking about Instagram stories, looking at like ideas for production. So if I have time, I'll try and produce some music or record some music. Obviously, with performing, I have to kind of practice. I try and practice like every day. Yeah. Sometimes it can happen, but I always try and practice every day. You know, there's admin, you know, all the boring, like typing out work that you got to do for things, the organization behind gigs, you know, marketing things, all of that, thinking about marketing plans and strategies and all that fun stuff. Then normally an actual event, which is at least 5 hours of your day, you know.
So obviously you somehow squeeze in eating and things
Oh
like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. General life necessities. Having a bit of sleep, drinking a coffee, eating some pasta.
I love it. I love it. Right, you've already kind of told me a few things you have planned over the rest of this month and into the end of 2023. But I guess I kind of want to know, how far ahead are you looking? Do you have big expectations or plans in place for 2024, continuing as you are at the moment?
Yeah, we've got more artists assigned to the label. We've got artists like in the works. So I'm working on some music for artists, and then I'm looking at future releases with artists on the label. Like I don't produce everything on the label. I'd be just constantly in a studio, making music, which doesn't sound that bad, to be honest with you. I'm hoping to get more gigs coming up, play more gigs with the band. We're going to be looking at, shows for next year and see where we can go with that. Because a lot of the gigs that we do as Anyone's Ghost, I put on.
Yeah.
Which is really fun and really good, until I realized that I have to host, do sound, do all the promotion for it, all the marketing and stuff, and then perform as well. So it's fun and I like the control, but it can be a lot of work,
yeah, I have to ask, and you kind of you like the control, but have you ever considered the possibility, or is there an option available, something you consider in the future for someone coming on board, maybe from the label side of things, to help you?
I was thinking about this a bit recently, because I have been constant. It's financially, like people have said you could take an intern on, you don't have to pay them, but it just feels wrong. If someone's doing all the work, you want to pay them something, and the cost of living hasn't been all that good recently. So, financially, it's not getting easier, is it? So maybe we'll have a say.
Yeah, I get you.
I know there's grants and funding available for that kind of thing, so I'm gonna have a little look into all that and kind of figure it out.
No, but I'm glad you take that. I'm glad you have that perspective, because I'm making a face because I kind of sit in that same camp where it's like, yeah, you could take an intern and you don't have to pay them, but yeah, don't feel right.
No, if someone's doing work to benefit you, like I always pay everyone for the gigs. I always make sure that even if we haven't sold loads of tickets for a gig, I'll just go, it's fine. I'm not that arsed. You can have the money and I'll just go from there. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get you. It's good.
Paid, they're doing what they want.
I never want to, like I said, I never want to wish more work stress on you or anything like that. But I am glad to hear that you are going to be so busy. That's certainly better than hearing, "Oh, I don't really know." And
of course, yeah. I've got to the point now in my life where if I'm not doing something every day to benefit myself or the label or the artist, then I just get really stressed. So
fair enough. Well, I'm not going to keep you much longer then, so you can get back to that side of things. But this is the next part. And this is Ozzy Osbourne. And in his head are randomized cards of anything and everything that we've chosen to just write in. We're going to ask you some. There are also, now it's being filled up as well with bands, other bands and artists asking questions themselves. But it's random. You might get one, you might not. We shall see. Okay. Oh, I've just dropped it. Hold on. There we go. Number 5, what is the first thing you do after you wake up?
Write a to-do list for the day.
Yeah, first thing.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been so scared you've closed your eyes and run away?
I don't think so. I'd like to. I played a gig. The headline with Anyone's Ghost was I was very nervous for it. There was nearly 100 people in the room on probably one of the biggest days of my life. And I didn't look up from the stage till the 5th song. And then I looked up and I was like, oh, wow, there's a lot of people here. And looked straight back down.
Oh, wow, amazing. Oh, okay, you've actually, right, you've got one of the band ones. So Chris Towning, the guitarist of the hardcore band Suffocate Faster, asked this. As a parent, if you are one now or if you would be one in the future, do you think you would hand your child an iPad? And it's basically about that kind of interaction.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe not at a young age, but as they get older, I'd like to think that I would give them the freedom to do to benefit from technology. You know, there's a lot of people who say that technology is bad for young people, but there's a lot of benefits to it as well. You know,
there is. Part of the discussion came about because he's 40 years old and I'm 39. So we both grew up in the 80s and 90s. So obviously technology wasn't as strong then. So there was a lot more go outdoors stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. 34. Do you believe in ghosts or spirits?
I don't know. That's it. I have no evidence proving yes, and I have no evidence proving no. So I would have to
sit on a fence.
Yeah, I would have to sit on a fence. If I saw a ghost, I would probably go. I'd probably believe in a ghost.
That's what I was gonna follow up by saying, what would it take, do you think, to convince you either or?
Probably seeing one.
So yeah, and that's not likely to happen, but there you go.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, you never know. Absolutely. Okay, 78. All right. In that same vein, do you think aliens have ever come to Earth?
Oh, probably. It's really unlikely that we are alone in the universe.
But you think they've come here?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. 32. What is your go-to cocktail? So, what would you order?
Oh, I don't really drink cocktails, but I have had some in the past. And I don't even know what it's called. A mojito. A mojito.
Oh, it's classic.
Nice and sweet. You know.
It's a classic. I still enjoy a good mojito.
Yeah.
Okay, 66. This is a very big one, so feel free to kind of cheat and just throw out a couple. Who is the greatest vocalist ever?
Oh. Oh, that is a difficult one.
Yeah.
I'm so used to people saying who's the greatest guitarist. That is a difficult one. I'll probably say Dio's definitely in there.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing. Ozzy as well, you know, and Stevie Nicks.
Good call.
Very, very good. Very good.
You know, I think I'm going to change that question after this. I'm going to change it to be a bit more, who are three of the three vocalists that you think are great? Just sort of stops putting people in that position. Okay. Right, what we got next? Number 80. What is something you just find so boring, but others tend to love?
Marvel movies. Well, I don't find them boring, but I just don't get the hype of it. Like, fair enough, but it's just not for me.
Fair enough. No, I'm smiling. I kind of agree with you. Oh God, this is a bit unfair, really, but considering what you've already told me. But number 18, are you a social media addict? So try and look at this from the personal point of view, from your personal social media use.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit personally, but every time I use it, I am kind of looking for bands or thinking about work. So in a way.
To be fair, it works. I mean, you're using it in that way. To me, that's less egregious than just as you doom scrolling and seeing what the latest trends are on Twitter or whatever. Okay, one more. 63. What is a topic that you are quite argumentative about?
I had this debate the other day, and this debate revolved into me asking a lot of people. But someone said to me they were going to get a pizza and they were going to put fish on it, and I just don't think that's a good call at all. I know that we had the whole pineapple on pizza debate, but I just think that fish on pizza, it just doesn't seem right.
Did the argument at any point, did I presume it descended into what types of fish potentially? Because there are some that I think, good God, don't put that on pizza, but some I'm kind of like, maybe that could work.
I just don't think that really any would. I just don't think the texture is right for it, and I don't think. Nah, I just don't think it's a good call.
It is as debatable as the pineapple one. I will agree with you there. Yeah. Okay. Right. So anybody that wants to kind of understand, follow, listen to what you're doing, you are all over social media. You are a very, very easy artist to find, thankfully, because of all the pies you have your fingers in effectively. But is there anything specific that you would like to ask an audience what they could do to support you?
I think that the majority of it is, like merchandise or tickets, just kind of coming to shows, showing support for local musicians. I think that's kind of the most important, because that's kind of the hardest thing to do, is to kind of, it can be quite difficult for people to commit to things, especially in today's modern society. I understand. I completely understand. I can't commit to many things.
Mm-hmm.
Like even just coming to a show and hanging out and having a good laugh, I think that's the most important thing nowadays.
Absolutely. Well said. Okay, Michael, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news, and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at gbhbl. Just search for gbhbl and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.